And we are recording. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're here again. This is LéTania Severe, she, her pronouns. I'm with the research team with King County Equity Now, and I'm joined by
Shaun Glaze, they, them pronouns, also with the research team at King County Equity Now. Hello.
Hello. We got some updates for you today. Shaun, you want to start us off talking about how what we've been up to last week?
Oh yeah. Last week we brought on a new team, Sacred Community Connections. They are awesome. They do crisis response and case management. One of the things I love about teams like SCC is that there are people all around the city doing great work who are seeing that there's a possibility beyond like our current status quo and are just creating it. So it's just really neat. They've run a peer-based model, which is one of the most effective things that we're seeing across different cities as people create civilian responses to 911. Civilian models are incredibly amazing and helpful. And they specialize in populations that you don't usually see reflected in the data, which is one of the reasons that it's just so important to create teams that are diverse, that are inclusive, and that are really focused on equity. So for them, they focus on people experiencing homelessness, people who use needles, and sex workers. And it's just so fantastic to have people with that expertise as part of the Black Brilliance Research Project.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we had a team kickoff with them on Saturday. So
Yes.
That was awesome to bring them on. So today is it at 3:30? We are doing a teach-in. And at that teach-in, we'll have a few discussions with our community researchers about what they've been up to, what they've been doing, their research topics. There'll probably be a few presentations from those teams, so you can kind of get a little snapshot of what they've been working on and some of their preliminary findings. And we'll also provide some preliminary findings from our community needs survey, which has been up for a few weeks now. And we'll close it out with a Q&A. So please find that on Facebook. We'll add a link in the description. When you join on Facebook, you'll be able to ask questions directly in the comments so that we can get to those toward the end of the program and answer your questions.
Yes,
That's
I love
today.
community teach-ins. Community teach-ins are the best. We did so many of them this summer. And we've done a few in the fall as well, but the community teach-ins are the best because it's just community folks. It's not the, the stifling or, can be really challenging, press communications where you're just like, I wonder if they're going to misquote me. It's like, no, you get to just like talk to your community and share what we're learning. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Please join us later today.
Yes.
Shaun, you want to give us some high-level findings on our from our research?
Yeah, totally. So a couple big picture things is I am just blown away always by the innovation that comes out of this research. So one of the really cool things that I've been hearing a lot recently is how important housing and mental health supports are. And I think that's no surprise. Every community that lives in Seattle, I think has been thinking about these things in many ways. We are in a housing crisis in terms of homelessness. We know that mental health is exacerbated with this pandemic and the financial strain that's happening. So none of these things are surprising. But the cool things is I'm seeing a lot of really impressive ideas about like, okay, well, if we could invest in mental health, for example, in ways that actually would support and create true safety and health, we would completely redo the service model. And I'm hearing that not just from people who seek out mental health services or who are connected to people who need help and support. I'm also hearing it from service providers. And so one of the teams that we're bringing on, like that's their focus. Actually, two teams are focused on mental health, just in slightly different ways, but both of them share the following qualities: a focus on holistic approaches to mental health, a focus on community and relationships as medicine, and a focus on really meeting people's needs in a diverse set of needs. And so I don't want to give too much away, because I think I want them to speak for themselves and share their own approach. But I will say that, as someone who's clinically trained, I have a master's in family therapy, and I like to stay on top of the latest, mental health service provision, because I guess I'm a geek like that. I'm realizing that's probably not a normal people thing to say as I say it.
I'm just like, the things that I studied that I don't do right now, I'm just like, I don't know what's happening with that.
I just think it's really interesting. So I come with this background, and I just like to stay on top of things. And the mental health field has not changed much since the 60s. The service model of you go to a therapist, maybe once a week for an indefinite amount of time, is one way that can really, help some people. But it should never be the only way, or perhaps not even the main way, that people get the support that they need to have like thriving mental wellness and behavioral health. So it's neat to hear people who work in this and have said, well, if I really had the ability to invest money where it would actually make a difference, here's how I would do it, and lay out detailed plans of like, here's what kinds of spaces I would create, here's what kinds of relationships, here's how I would make sure it's sustainable and not reliant on a single time funding source. Here's how I would make sure that it brings in people's like cultural sensibilities. And I don't just mean just generally like helping Black and brown folks, which is sometimes like the level of specificity you hear in other places. It's like, I'm going to help Black and brown people. That's my cultural specificity. And you're like, wow, that is not specific at all. What would you do differently? And they're like, I would talk about racism. You're just like, that's it. So exciting stuff, and we'll be sharing and allowing more opportunities for teams to share out in their own voices what's important to them. So that's my update there. And I know that we're going to talk about something else. What was it?
We're going to talk about the solidarity budget.
Yes.
Good
tie-in, because so much of what people are saying is just how important it is to have a comprehensive strategy and to not do this like divisive budgeting in order to get there. But can you tell us more about the solidarity budget? What is it, and what can people do?
I can. So the solidarity budget statement is basically a group of racial justice coalitions, environmental justice and climate organizations, labor unions, service providers, and some other community groups, including King County Equity Now and Decriminalize Seattle, came together to make a commitment to a variety of principles around the 2021 Seattle budget process. These include, but are not limited to, divestment from policing, reinvestment in BIPOC communities, focusing on those closest to the problems, having are the closest to the solutions, which we've been preaching for all the community research, as well as an equitable Seattle and a healthy and just climate future for all. Basically, several groups are, they want to just let the city know that we won't be pitted against each other. We don't want you to take from one focus to get to another. You don't want us to have to fight for a small pot of money. All the things like divestment from policing and reinvestment into Black and Indigenous and POC communities, as well as climate justice and money for COVID and for affordable housing. All those things need to happen. And it shouldn't be you get one, but you don't get the rest. And so we've come together and we've had organizations signing this statement in support. We'll put a link in the description to the to the Google form that you can sign you can get your organization to sign the solidarity budget, and just show support to kind of a different way of doing things around budgeting in this city, in this area. This idea of pitting marginalized communities or communities who have been oppressed for so very long in this country against each other, it needs to stop. And we, as those communities, won't allow it to happen. We're going to work together, stay together, and build community together in a way to combat that narrative and that process.
Absolutely. I know one of our calls to action is to sign the Solidarity Budget organization. So if you're connected to an organization, it could be like a small organization, a large organization, a company, please, get your org or company to endorse and sign the Solidarity Budget, because really, I think one of the things that stands out for me in terms of this summer and the fall is once people stand together, then the impossible suddenly becomes possible. So it's legit true. Please sign, and that's the Solidarity Budget. We have other calls to actions as well, right?
Yep, we sure do. Please continue to do the community needs survey. We're still collecting data on that. We want to we want you to tell us what you need so that we can meet those needs. We're also just collecting data to see what priorities people in the community have for the budget, and how the budget should be focused. And our last one is please continue to tell the mayor to free the funds. We still are waiting for the funding around for gun violence prevention, as well as for scaling up community orgs who keep people safe. They you can't not allow those organizations to do more and then tell us like, oh, your solutions aren't good enough. It's like, we told you we have solutions.
Yeah.
We got council to agree to give money to help them scale up to do more. So
this
Mayor
year,
Kenny
in
Durkin,
2020.
yes, in 2020, we are on October 12th today. We need you to go ahead and release those funds.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a link in the description for you to go ahead and write the mayor and ask her to release those funds.
Absolutely. I can't think of anything else. You may have noticed we have started to post some of the podcasts from our community researchers. So please support. They're also making social media posts. So if you are on social media, please follow and like and subscribe our orgs. I'm going to list the orgs that we have currently online, and there's a few more that are coming online this week. So I'll just announce the ones that are active currently. We have Bridging Cultural Gaps, which is BCG Washington in most spaces. We have East African Community Services, which is East African Community Services on all the socials. We have Freedom Project. Freedom Project Washington is what you'll look for if you're searching in Google. We also have King County Equity Now, Wanawari, which is WA space NA space WARI, so Wanawari. And then we have Sacred Community Connections. And so those are the orgs to follow, to like, so you get all of their stuff. They love to hear from people, so please cheer them on as they engage in this groundbreaking work that has never been done before. And just, support the Black Brilliance Research Project. Share their stuff, like their things, participate in their events and their outreach, and take our community needs survey. If you're someone that's like, I don't really need anything, you should still take our community needs survey. In part because, of course, I would love to hear people saying they're getting all of their needs met. They're actually fine. That's wonderful. That is not a bad outcome. So please go ahead. If the Black Brilliance Research Project throws you because you're like, I'm not Black, should I take this survey? Please take this survey.
Yes, take the survey.
Just take the survey. Like, it's great. It's wonderful. I am really proud to say we have really good racial representation so far in our survey. We have good age representation, though I would love to hear from more people who are a bit older. So please, you know, if that's you and you were just waiting for an invitation, this is your invitation.
Take the survey. If your family members haven't taken it,
yes,
get it to them. You know,
it should be you. It should be your family. It should be your friends. It's not one per household like some surveys are. This one's like, we want to hear what everyone's unique situations are. And sometimes it's just important to get that data directly from the people. So that's all I got.
That's all I got. So I guess that's it. Until next time.
Until next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.